Hello and welcome back to the Microlearning Institute. In today's tutorial we look at the concepts of organizational culture, and specifically we look at the work of Hofstede in this arena. Hofstede in 2001 uncovered national and regional cultural groupings that affect the behaviour of societies and consequently affect behaviours in organisations that work within these societies. Hofstede found 5 dimensions of culture in his study of national work-related values. Firstly was low or high power distance. Next was individualism versus collectivism. Then we had masculinity versus femininity, and low versus high uncertainty avoidance. And finally, we had long versus short-term orientation. Let's look first at the characteristics of a power distance culture. So, a culture that demonstrates high power distance values an environment where the position is accepted. So again, there's a big distance between the leader and the followers. Also, a power distance culture or a high power distance culture tends to follow authority because again there's a strong value in the leader in these cultures, and they have concentrated and centralized authority structures. These structures work best. Also, hierarchical structures where there's a strong reporting culture works well in these cultures. In low power distance cultures, there's a tendency to avoid a concentration of authority. And there's a lot more decentralization in these cultures with a lot fewer layers of management. Next, let's look at the individualism-Collectivism cultures. So a strong individualism culture has a strong value on autonomy and on individuals. There's a great value on individual achievement, and these cultures really value individual awards for individual achievement. And there's also a strong value on privacy and securing knowledge within the individual. Whereas in contrast, collectivist cultures really value the team or the group. There's a strong loyalty to the group and a strong devotion to the norms of the group, as well as a conformity to the behaviours of the group. So the group is more dominant than the individuals. Next, let's look at masculinity cultures and femininity cultures. So in masculinity cultures, there's a drive and an aggression for success. There's an assertive acquisition of money and power. It's in a very competitive way. And there's a focus on achievement and growth and targets. Whereas in a feminine culture, there's a focus on equality of genders and equality of different groupings. There's a focus on caring for the lesser well-off and the disadvantaged. And there's also a focus on maintaining harmony and not disrupting the harmony of the environment. Now let's look at different uncertainty avoidance cultures. So firstly, a low uncertainty avoidance culture would embrace the unpredictable. They would have less adherence to rules, procedures or hierarchies because they have low uncertainty avoidance. They want to engage with uncertainty. So in these cultures, risk-taking is perceived as being desirable. In contrast, in high uncertainty avoidance cultures, these cultures and individuals within these cultures tend to be threatened by any ambiguity. If there isn't certainty about things, then people feel threatened by that. These people who work in these cultures need stable and predictable workplaces in order to function best. And they need rules because there's a tendency to rely on the rules and the guidelines. Thank you very much for watching this short overview of organisational culture, particularly focused on the work of Hofstede.